Hello and welcome back to Redirecting. In this video, I'm going to be talking about a movie that is coming out. As a matter of fact, the link was sent to me by one of my viewers. And the movie is called CRACKA. Not Cracker, CRACKA, C-R-A-C-K-A. Now, the viewer wanted to know what my thoughts were on the trailer, so I took a look. And basically what the movie is about, it is a role reversal where the slave master is now the black man and the slave is now the white man. And so you can imagine in the trailer, they are doing a complete role reversal. Everything that was done to black people in slavery is now being reversed and being done to white people. And that's what the trailer basically depicts. So the whole film is about that, okay? Not sure when this film is scheduled to be released, but the trailer gives you a great summation of what the contents are going to be about. Now, I have my thoughts on the trailer of what I saw, and I'm going to try to cover it as best as I can. And I'm coming from a number of different angles, not just one angle, okay? The first thing I want to say is, for us, this was a reality. This is what our people actually went through. It wasn't a dramatization. It was real. All of the things depicted in that trailer actually happened to our ancestors. The only difference is the fact that it was 10 times worse. When you're doing a dramatization, you can never really capture the rawness of a real moment. I want you all to keep that in mind, okay? Keep that in mind. When you're doing a dramatization, it is not the same as the real thing, okay? Now, apart from that, the next thing is, these are actors. The person who sent this link to me, I want you to realize that these are actors playing a part, okay? They're going to get a paycheck at the end of that. My ancestors did not get a paycheck. As a matter of fact, many of them lost their lives. Now, I'm not saying this to sound cold in any way. I just want to paint a very real picture, okay? This is what I do on this channel. I like to tell it like it is. As a matter of fact, sometimes I believe I hold back because if I can really say what's on my mind, I'll just leave it right there. I'm going to leave that part right there. But anyway, this is just a film. What our ancestors went through was reality. It was real. It wasn't acted out. There was no check coming at the end. No one was going to be nominated for some type of award afterward. None of that. Okay? The point of the matter is they're putting this on the screen as a role reversal. Now, a lot of people might get hyped about that. I'm going to give you my other point of view on this. And I get this from looking at some of the comments. And although they may have been coming from a whole different mindset when they said it, I read a few comments where they were basically saying that they believe this was being put out by Jews to create division. Okay? Now, I want to talk about that for a moment. In this world, we see a lot of division. Okay? Division between races and genders and you name it is there. Okay? And when I look at a movie like this or a series, it's highly doubtful that it is being funded 100% by anyone black. You see, I do believe that a lot of things are put out there as propaganda to stir up the environment. As a matter of fact, a lot of the news that comes forward, you wonder sometimes, is this real? Did this really happen, or are they trying to stir up the environment? I'll give you a good example of one that I'm talking about. Remember years ago when supposedly this white female newscaster was supposedly shot live on air by a black man. And what I saw afterward, I didn't see a lot of white anger from it. But what I did see were a lot of gun enthusiasts who were analyzing the video. One guy in particular, and these are white people, one guy said it is impossible that this is real. He used his own weapon that they claim was the weapon that was used to take her out, and he used it on a deer. And he showed how when that bullet hit the body of that deer, how it literally tore a hole into the deer's body. And then he noticed, he said, okay, now notice when they claim she was hit with a bullet, you don't see any type of anything. You don't see a splattering of blood. You don't see a piercing of blood. And you definitely don't see a ripping and a tearing of flesh. So he was analyzing, and many people were analyzing. They were saying that this, they believe, was staged because there was no evidence based on the weapon they claim was used that this woman at such close range wouldn't have any type of damage to her body. And so whose idea was it to put that propaganda out like that? And so my guess is the same thing happening with this film. The same people who like to stir the pot and get the environment all hyped up, they are called the money makers. It kind of reminds me of a song that one of the old timers sung a long time ago in the 70s. I think Terry Collier was his name. Someone that my husband liked to listen to, and he kind of turned me on to it. But anyway, he says, black and white are hating while the money makers are having fun. In other words, they are at the top, sitting, pointing, laughing, making money, while they are stirring up the environment towards hate. And I could definitely see that to be true. I can see that that's what's happening. At the same time, you do feel the raw emotions from some of the things that are happening because much of it is real. Okay, all of it is not fake, but it can still be propaganda. Just because something isn't real, it doesn't mean. I'm sorry, not just because something isn't fake, should I say, doesn't mean that it's not propaganda. You can do something very real events, real consequences, real loss of life, and all of that. But it can still be propaganda because of the way they report things. They want to make sure that you know that every unarmed black person that was taken out of here, they want to make sure that those stories are well covered. And they want to also make sure that you know that every heavily armed white person who just simply gets arrested, they want you to know that too, so that we can share memes that actually make the comparison. And that stirs us up. It stirs us up. But the bigger picture is this. Who is at the top pulling the strings? It's the money makers, you see. Anyway, back to the film or the series CRACKA. I definitely can see the handwriting on the wall with this, because they want to stir up the environment to create the atmosphere of purging. And so if you put something out there like that, and you have people moving about in fear, thinking that this is going to happen to them any day now, because of movie propaganda, then they are going to respond accordingly. Now, what the Bible says is going to happen is something quite different than what they are depicting. There are going to be so many events in the end times, according to the Bible, that are going to take place. But when you get to removing the truth of the word or of the Bible out of there, and you insert your own fleshly agenda, then you create a certain environment. And you don't care what the consequences are. So that's what I think about the film To the Person Who Asked. But at the same time, we have to keep this in mind. That was the reality that so-called black people went through. And what this film is portraying is just actors. Just people getting paid at the end of the day. Those are my thoughts on the trailer. I hope that this answers your question. Okay? If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, share and like this video, and with that, I am out. Be sure to ring the bell to be notified of new uploads on this channel, and also comment, share, like, and subscribe.